Welcome to pile number 1. Your warning for this year comes from one of the most formidable, intelligent, and fiercely self-possessed figures in the entire tarot. And it arrives not as a threat but as the kind of honest, clear-eyed counsel that only someone who genuinely respects you would offer. The Queen of Swords has lived through things. She has loved and lost and rebuilt herself from the wreckage with a precision and a dignity that commands absolute respect. She is not cold, she is clear. And the warning she brings you for this year is one she knows intimately from her own experience. Be very careful that your greatest strength does not become your most significant obstacle. Your mind is razor sharp. Your ability to see through pretense, to analyze situations with clarity, to protect yourself from being deceived or manipulated. These are genuine and hard-won gifts. But the Queen of Swords carries a shadow, and her shadow is this: the same blade that cuts away what is false can, if turned inward or wielded without discernment, cut away what is real and good and worth keeping. This year, watch for the tendency to intellectualize your emotions rather than feel them. Watch for the moments when your sharp perception tips from clarity into cynicism, from healthy boundaries into walls so high that genuine connection becomes impossible. There is also a warning here about the way you communicate when you are wounded or threatened. The Queen of Swords at her most defended can be withering. Her words precise and cold in a way that causes damage she did not entirely intend, or perhaps intended in the moment but regrets in the aftermath. This year, before you speak from that defended, armored place, pause long enough to ask whether the sword is necessary or whether it is simply the fastest available tool for making the pain stop. Warmth and discernment are not mutually exclusive. The highest expression of this queen, and of you, is someone who thinks with crystalline clarity and feels with genuine depth simultaneously. That integration is this year's most important work. Welcome to pile number 2. This warning arrives with a gravity that deserves your full and undivided attention, not because it is here to frighten you, but because the devil is one of those cards that does not deal in subtlety, and the message it carries for your year ahead is one that could genuinely alter the course of things if you are willing to receive it with honesty and act on it with courage. The devil is the card of bondage, of addiction, of the chains we forge link by link through our own choices and then forget we had any part in creating. And the warning for this year is stark and compassionate in equal measure. There is something in your life that has more power over you than you have been willing to fully admit. This year, that dynamic is asking to be named. Look honestly at where you feel least free. Not the obvious external constraints, but the internal ones. The patterns of behavior you return to despite knowing they do not serve you, the relationships or dynamics you remain in despite the cost to your self-worth and your peace, the substances, habits, or distractions you reach for when the discomfort of being fully present becomes too much to sit with. The devil does not judge any of this. He simply illuminates it, because what cannot be seen cannot be changed, and what you have perhaps been carefully not looking at directly this year is asking, urgently, insistently, to be looked at. The most important thing to understand about the Devil card is what is almost always missed in a first reading. The chains around the figure's necks in this card are loose. They could be removed. They are worn rather than welded. The bondage depicted here is real in its effects but voluntary in its maintenance, which means the power to step free has always been available and remains available right now. This year, the warning is not that you are doomed to remain in whatever is binding you. The warning is simply that the longer you pretend the chains are not there, the more comfortable they become, and the harder it grows to imagine life without them. See them clearly this year. Name them honestly, and then, one link at a time, begin to take them off. Welcome to pile number 3. Your warning for this year is delivered with the softest possible hands, because the 5 of Cups is a card that understands grief, real, legitimate, bone-deep grief, and it would never minimize the validity of what you have lost or what you are still mourning. The figure in this card stands before 3 spilled cups, cloaked in sorrow, focused entirely on what is gone. And the warning is not that you should not grieve. The warning is about how long you remain standing in front of those spilled cups this year, and what it is costing you to keep your back turned to the 2 that are still standing, still full, still waiting patiently for you to notice them. Loss has visited your life. Perhaps recently, perhaps over a longer period of accumulation. Lost relationships, lost opportunities, lost versions of a future you had carefully imagined and then watched dissolve. The grief that followed was and is entirely real and entirely valid. And no part of this warning is asking you to skip over it or perform a recovery that has not genuinely happened. But the 5 of Cups carries a specific caution for this year. The caution that grief, if left unexamined and untended, can quietly transform from a natural response to loss into a fixed identity. A way of experiencing the world that filters out the present in favor of a permanent residence in what was. Watch this year for the ways mourning what you have lost may be preventing you from fully inhabiting what you still have. Watch for the tendency to use past pain as evidence that future joy is either undeserved or untrustworthy. The particular self-protective logic that says if I do not hope too much, I cannot be devastated again. That logic is understandable, and it is also, over time, one of the loneliest ways to live. This year, the warning and the invitation are woven together. Tend to your grief with genuine compassion and genuine intention, so that it can move through you rather than become you. Turn around. The full cups are there. They have been waiting for you with extraordinary patience. And you are allowed, even now, even after everything, to drink from them.